What up, everyone? So, about to start the boxes of August, but they're coming a little late, honestly. So I thought I'd do a weekly roundup video because I'd like to do more and more of them. And this one is going to be especially focused around minis, mini things, mini collectible things, blind boxes, blind bags, so on and so forth. So, basically this one's going to be all about some things that I've found and want to show you guys, give you my opinion on, maybe some things you haven't seen or heard of, so lesser known things that I want to get the word out about, so you guys can let me know what you think about them, and we'll just talk about it a little bit. So, where should I start? First, a series that's been around for a while, it's these Marvel 500 figures. So these are blind bags, and they have a bunch of different series. I think they're on like series 5 now. And basically it just comes with one individual figure. So I'll show you. So right here I got Crossbones. So it's just a pretty simplistic figure. And I also got Hulkbuster. And then I got a little mini Black Widow. There's that. And then I got some characters in these ones that I haven't looked at. So it looks like we got Bucky. So they're pretty simplistic, as in they usually don't have a lot of paint on them. They're usually like 2 or 3 color paint job. And there's Electro, modern version of Electro. Focus. Come on. Focus. Oh, for fuck's sake. This camera sucks sometimes. God damn you. Alright, taking it there, finally. Jesus Christ. Way too long to focus. Anyway, like I was saying, the paint job on them is pretty simplistic. The sculpt on them is decent. They do a good job sculpting them, but they usually stick to like 2 or 3 colors, and they have variant paint jobs of a lot of the figures, and each one comes with a little card in there saying the figures that came in that series and the variants of them. They're pretty cheap. These usually run only about $3. So for a $3 figure, they're decent in quality. You can't expect super high quality from such a cheap figure. The blind bags are usually the cheapest way to go. Blind boxes are usually higher in quality. Blind bags are usually the absolute bottom of the barrel, like as far as quality goes. But they're decent quality. They're just a fun little figure, and I think it's they're probably not super collectible. I doubt people are trying to collect these entire series, but it's just something fun to have. It's fun to pick up every now and then, and pretty much all the things that I have in here I've seen at like Target. I got a lot of them at Target, and they're very cheap. They're in most comic stores. It's just fun to pick up every once in a while, or to put in like a grab bag for someone, or a box or something like that. But I like them. They're decent in quality, they have a good paint job, and they're just, I like really small figures, as you can see. I like them. They're easier to display, you can have more of them. So I thought I'd check out that series, and whenever I'm in Target, I'll just like grab one just for fun. So I like that series, and I thought it's pretty cool. So, there are a lot of other companies that do the same thing. I saw these ones. They had Transformers, the same situation. Blind bag, they're right about $3. And these ones are a little bit less in quality. So, I got one that was really good, and the rest of them not so much. So we got this one. And each series has like Optimus Prime, and then they have the different Autobots and Decepticons. My fucking camera will focus. Jesus Christ, woman. There we go. So there's that, and then I actually went out and bought this one. This is Grimlock right here. So this is the one I like. I really like Grimlock. I've always liked him. He's my favorite Transformer. So Grimlock looked cool, but he was kind of the only one. When I looked on the description card and when I looked him up online, they weren't super high in quality. So most of the Transformers were not high in quality. They were just basically a 2-tone paint job. Like this one, his entire body's red. It's just the color of the plastic, and the only thing they painted was his head. I think that's a little too simplistic for my taste. The Marvel ones were decent in quality. I don't like the Transformers ones. The sculpt on is fine, but they need to add a little more detail as far as the paint job. Like I said, I liked Grimlock. I think he looked cool, but he was pretty much the only one. And all the other ones were much like this, where it was more like something you get in a Happy Meal, where it's just the color of the plastic and there's no real paint job to it. So I was pretty disappointed with that, and those are the only ones I ever got. I didn't feel like I wanted to collect more of them because they were just not as high in quality. Wasn't a big fan of them. Next, another one I've seen a lot of is Mega Bloks. They've had these blind bags for a while. the Ninja Turtles series. I'm actually a really big fan of these. I've liked these ones. So in this one, I got the Mousers. Try to show you the best I can. It's hard to hold them up. And my camera sucks at focusing, because it's a piece of shit. Come on. Alright, well, close enough. You get the gist of it. They're little Mousers. They're not super high in detail. But the rest of their figures are actually really nice. They're in the similar, like, I wouldn't say Lego style, but they're much like Mini-Mates. I wasn't a big fan of Mini-Mates, but I am a really big fan of these Mega Bloks ones. They actually are much higher in detail. And I showed you these in a Roundup before, the ones that come in packs that these just recently came out with. And then just the other week from Comic-Con, they released these ones. So the same ones, but the Eastman collection, where it's the black and white version of all the Turtles. I really like these. Normally I don't like opposable figures or action figures, but these are really cool. They're really small, they're mini, they're easy to display, they're fully opposable, and they're pretty highly detailed. And each one comes with a little stand to go on, and they're pretty cheap. I think these are on sale right now at ToysRUs.com for I think $5 or $6, and the normal price on them is like $7 or $8. And it comes with the figure and the stand and everything like that. I'm really liking Mega Bloks. I usually don't like Legos or buildable figures or Mini-Mates. They're just not high enough in quality. But these ones really are. The blind bags are going for like $3 and $3 to $5. I think some of them are more like $5 because they're pretty high in detail. And it's very surprising how detailed they get with such a small amount and for such a cheap price. And I've gotten some of the bigger display sets too, so I'm a really big fan of it. I'm really starting to get into Mega Bloks, surprisingly, because I've never liked anything like that before. But I'm a really big fan of these, and I'd recommend them. So if you're interested in those series, you can get the blind bags, like I said, at like Target or Walmart or anywhere like that. But the figures, the packages that I just showed you, like I said, ToysRUs.com, super cheap, super easy to get, really nice in quality. So I highly recommend those if you're a Turtles fan. Next, we got some DC ones. So we got some Batman, Superman, and these are Mighty Minis. And I'm pretty sure this is the same company that gives us Mighty Mugs. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. But these ones I actually like too. I like the style of these. So I got a Batman and a Superman. They didn't have a lot of different figures in the series. It was pretty much just Batman and Superman in a few different costumes. There we go. In a few different costumes. So this is like an alternate paint job of like the armored Batman and then classic Superman. It could have been a little more detailed because you can see his hands aren't painted, which I thought was a little bit weird. But other than that, it was pretty good. I like the design of them. I like the sculpt of them. I like the style. There could be a little more to the paint job, but that's just being nitpicky. But I really like these too. These are only $3 a piece, and these are really good in quality. And not in blind bags, but similar to that, they had ones that came with cars that are Hot Wheels ones. Same series, Mighty Minis by Mattel. Each of these came with a car. So I got armored Batman and the Batmobile, and Superman comes with the police car for some reason. But again, pretty nice in quality, and I really like the armored Batman. And these weren't expensive either. I think these were like $4 or $5. But yeah, I like the Mighty Minis. Wasn't a big fan of Mighty Mugs or anything like that. I thought they were just okay. But I like this series. It's pretty cheap and it's pretty decent in quality. Some of the figures aren't as painted as they should be, but that's about it. I like that series a lot. And I hope they do more series like that because I like the style. So I hope to see that series back again for the Justice League movie. Alright. Moving on. So these ones are a little bit bigger. These are the superhero mashers. So these are the ones where you take pieces off and then put them on different figures, which I really don't care about. I'm not going to switch parts or anything, but I did like the style of these figures. So I got Anti-Venom and I got Spider-Man, and I was also going to grab Iron Man while I was at it. I just liked the figures and I just thought they were pretty cool. They're small. These are only $5, and you can switch out parts if you want if you're younger and you like to play with them, but I just like the style of these. I just like these two characters, so I picked them up. $5, no big deal. Alright. Moving on. Then I got some of these. I got these little Finding Dory ones. I actually like these figures too. And it comes with a little window here so you can see what figure you're getting, so you don't have to guess. But I just really like the octopus and the otter, so I thought they were both cool. Hank and, forget the otter's name. Yeah, it just says sea otter. But I just like these figures. I just like these two specifically. I like octopuses, so octopi. I have one tattooed on me, so it's just one of my favorite animals, so I picked those up. Nothing really special about them, but really nice in quality though. Those were like $4 or $5 a piece too. Very decent quality. Good sculpt, good paint job, all around decent. Next, I showed these off before. I grabbed some of these at Comic-Con back in 2015, and they're these Street Fighter keychain figures. So somehow they just now got released. They were at Comic-Con a year ago, and they're just now getting released. But I like these. They have a good sculpt, and they're just like these chibi figures of Street Fighter. Got Ken right here. I'm looking for a Ryu, and I haven't found him yet. But yeah, I think these are decent quality. And these are only $5 too, and they're just nice little collectible figures. And Street Fighter is a series that we don't really see a lot of. Street Fighter is a really popular video game. I know they just came out with Street Fighter V, but other than that, they really don't get a lot of attention. There's no movies about them. They still do comic books, but there's no real shows going on, so it's nice to see Street Fighter collectibles. I've always been a fan of them, so it's cool to see that, and hopefully we see some more of it around, because it really is a popular series. It's like the original fighting game. They're very recognizable, but yeah, hopefully we see more of them in the future. Next, Teen Titans Go. Got these little collectible figures, and these are actually really nice in quality too. They did a decent job on these, and they are actually opposable. So I got Robin in one of his alternate suits. Yeah, so he's like fully opposable. And yeah, they did a really good job on these figures. And there's the option of pretty much the team right there. Oh, there we go. So there's the team right there. So yeah, I thought these were really good in quality too. And for that same $3 to $5 price, I thought I'd try out just one of them. Alrighty, moving on. So a series we've seen a lot before, but aren't that popular, is these original minis. That's what the series is called. They're just these little mini figures. They're very basic in their design, and they always come on a little stand. This is a Deadpool series that they just recently did. And they're always decent in quality. They're kind of hit and miss. Like some of them are decent in quality, and some of them are kind of crappy. It just kind of depends on the series. Some of their Marvel ones haven't been too good, and they always have to make them bobblehead because it's the Marvel ones. But let's take a look at the quality here. Focusing. Yeah, anyway, so the quality's decent. They just don't always get the shapes right. They look a little awkward sometimes. The Deadpool ones were fine. They did a Spider-Man series a really long time ago that I liked, that I showed off a long time ago. Again, they're up there. And that was like 2 or 3 years ago, and they've just kind of been trickling out series since then, and they're okay. Like, the paint job's fine. The sculpt on them's always a little bit weird. We've seen a lot of them, and I just don't think they're very popular because they got to work on the sculpt of their figures. One series they just came out with is a new series they're trying to do. This is the Civil War, but they're called Domies. They're basically their figures, the original minis figures, but they're just in a dome, in a little collectible dome. So there we go. So the one I got, the only one I wanted really, Iron Man. So like you can see here, like he looks good, he's decent in quality, but the sculpt is just a little bit off. Like it's just a little bit askew. Things are a little bit too disproportional. Obviously his head's supposed to be bigger, but like you can see, his arms are a little too long, his hands are a little too big. He looks a little bit like a monkey. So obviously with the big head, it's disproportionate, but they still got to work on their scale a little bit because it's like big head, big arms, regular hands, small feet and legs. Like it's just too disproportionate. They got to work on their proportions a little bit better and their sculpts a little bit better. So they're just okay. We've seen them pop up in boxes here and there. They have some work to do, but I think they have good potential. Alright, so these are much like the Street Fighter ones, this little Star Wars series. Same thing, these little like backpack hanger keychain guys. And I got a little Yoda. So very similar to the Street Fighter ones. I'm pretty sure it's the same company if I'm not mistaken. Very similar in style, but for the price, for like $3, not too bad if you're a big Star Wars fan. So check those out. Alrighty, what else have we got? So these, the little Micro Machine Star Wars figures. These have been showing up a lot more because of the new movie that came out almost a year ago. But these are something that was out when I was a kid. And I love these because I'm such a big fan of miniatures. They are just always impressive to me, how they can make them so small and have such detail to them. So I just picked up one of these. This was like $3. And they're just really cool. The detail on them's not great, but since they're so tiny, it's pretty hard for them to add any detail. But they're just really fun, small little figures, and you know what you're getting, so it's just fun to pick up one of those here and there. So there's that. Alright, what else we got? So this series, I'm not sure what to call these. This is just called a collectible diorama 3-pack. I'm not sure what the series is called, but they have a blind bag series out right now of this. So there's this set of 3. There's also one with Iron Man, Hulk, and Thor, I think, like that. It's another set of 3, but they have separate blind bags with these individual characters in there. I just got the diorama because these are the 3 characters I wanted. These are like 3 of my favorite characters, so I just picked this up. The design on them is decent. The sculpt on them is decent. I've showed off Avengers ones they did before, so they're pretty good in quality. This was, I think this came to like $15. Yeah, it says 15 for the 3 of them. So the price is like okay. I just personally like them because I like the characters. I do like that they're little dioramas though, so they're not just figures. They come with a little stand and a little bit of a scene to it, so that's what I like about it. It makes it a little bit different, and they're in cool poses and stuff like that. But the quality on them is not super great. I mostly like this because it already came in a display case like this, so I thought that was cool. Then, one little random one I picked up, these Pokemon ones. So Pokemon Go is such a huge thing right now. I only picked up this one because it's Cubone. When I was a kid, my favorite Pokemon was Cubone. He was always my favorite because he was just kind of adorable looking, but he was also kind of badass because he wore a skull on his head. I don't know why. I always really liked him. He was always my favorite. So I saw him, and it's rare to see him around. He's not that popular, so I went and picked this one up. These are crazy expensive, though. I think this was like $15 for this one thing. And if you go online, they're like 20 bucks. So I'm not sure if it's because the ball's in there or not, but the figure's decent. The sculpt on it's fine, the paint job's fine, but it's not that great. Like 15 bucks is pretty expensive. Had it not been my favorite Pokemon, I would not have bothered with it because that's way too much for just this. 15 bucks, like that's pretty crazy. But I just thought I'd show that off and tell you about that. So one more thing I wanted to show was this new, I don't know if it's necessarily a new company or brand, but these are called Kubros. So Mattel actually contacted me, sent me a little letter here, and they wanted me to talk about it. I'm guessing a new series, but I said, yeah, I'm more than happy to. I'll show them off. So these are Kubros, and these are basically buildable figures. Much like Legos or Mega Bloks or anything like that, or Nano Blocks, it's just a figure that's completely built by these like square little blocks. And these are just based around pop culture and things like that. So this one's based off the Terminator. So we got him right there. And then we got one from Masters of the Universe. We got Skeletor, so there's that. And then another one from Masters. And we got our classic He-Man. So there's that figure. There we go. And one more they sent me was a Star Trek one. And it looks like we got Spock. So I think this is a series they're trying to push. They sent this to me a long time ago. I feel really bad when people send me stuff and it takes me like 6 months to show it off. So I apologize if they're watching that it took so long, but haven't had time to do it. But yeah, it seems like a legit series. I always like these and Nano Blocks and stuff because I just think it's fun to build things. Just like I like doing puzzles and stuff. It's fun to build figures. And these ones seem pretty cool in quality. I like that they do like Terminator. That seems like a good series and stuff like that. But yeah, these are just called Kubros. I think I'm pronouncing that right. From Mattel, and I'm guessing we're going to see a lot more of them. So there's those if you want to ever check them out. I'll probably build those myself because I think it's fun. Yeah, other than that, I think I went through everything. I think that was all the minis I got. But yeah, I just had a lot of these minis stockpiled up, so I thought I'd put them all in one video to kind of show them back to back to show you what the options are. Because these are things we really don't see. In boxes, we see so much Funko stuff, and you know, I like mystery minis most of the time, but it gets old after a while, and sometimes they do get expensive, and things like Loyal Subjects and Kid Robot, really great figures, but crazy expensive. Like 13 bucks for one blind box is too much sometimes. Sometimes you just want something fun and spirited in the moment, so if you want to save some money, go with some blind bags. Like I said, these are usually 3 bucks, some go as high as 5, but still, that's really not a lot to pay, and most of these are very nice in quality. And they have one for pretty much every series. Marvel, DC, Star Wars, Turtles, like Capcom, all kinds of stuff. So there's one for pretty much everyone and everything. And they're fun, they're easy to display, so I'm a big fan of them. Anyway, let me know what you guys thought, if you have any questions on them, or where to get them, where to see them, or if you have any minis that you haven't seen on here that you want to talk about, let's talk about it in the comments. So, I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm glad I got to do at least one weekly roundup this month. I'll see you in August, and we'll talk We'll start doing the boxes of August if they ever get here, and hopefully I can keep up and stay on time this month. So, thank you all for watching. Let's talk about it in the comments. Love y'all. Peace.